Just a few days left now of the holiday. Just been on a mid-morning stroll. I don't know what I can say that can match the beauty of this environment. And so perhaps silence is a better option. You may be able to hear the training sessions of, I guess, the armed forces in the distance. I think there's an army base nearby. I suppose that reminds us of the fragility of the freedoms that we maybe take for granted, and that they have to be protected, unfortunately. And in 2022, when I was at school in the 70s, the First World War was about 55 years behind me, ending in 1918. Of course, now 1918 is over 100 years in the past. And then, of course, there was the Second World War, and that's part of our histories, part of a lot of people's actual living memory, of course. But as the years and decades roll on, it will be remembered in the history books rather than in the memories of people who are actually living. That's the nature of history, I guess. But those distant gunfires, of course, cause no anxiety because we know that they're training exercises. But it's a stark reminder that, of course, for a lot of people, those who lived through and served in the Second World War, that those noises of bullets firing have a different connotation. It's worth remembering and never forgetting the sacrifice that those men and women made at the turn of the 20th century. (1914 to 1918), 1939 to 1945. It is easy to take things for granted, and I guess, again, coming back to the way of being in the world, gratitude is a wonderful place, a wonderful position, a wonderful default mindset to live in. If you want to focus on one core emotion, or contemplate on one idea, you couldn't go far wrong than having that idea and that emotional response to be one of gratitude. Gratitude for being alive, gratitude for the sacrifices others have made to allow us this freedom. It's easy to focus on the negatives in life, on how things could be better for oneself and for our families and communities and the world as a whole. But things could be a whole lot worse, and so people who have suffered the heartache of war, either through first-hand experience or losing loved ones, they might see with a different perspective. And those of us who haven't had direct experience of war and of the heartache and pain and suffering that brings, we can still be aware of that. We can still look at history and learn from it and move forwards with the knowledge that we are in a world that offers us so much to be grateful for, and a life that could be quite easily much, much worse and more difficult. And I didn't set out to talk about these issues, but I guess with the background training from the over the hills, we can hear the gunfire. It seemed appropriate to maybe talk a little bit about our freedoms and how they were given to us by those who sacrificed their lives.